All right, everybody, welcome back to my channel. Tonight, I have a guest named Aarron. He's a good friend of mine, and we're going to cover all kinds of ground. So without further ado, Aarron, hit it off, buddy. How you doing?
I'm well, man. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks. Appreciate it. So what do you want to discuss first? And
I could tell you the kind of things I know a bit about, and if you're interested, I'd like to share some Buddhism subject stories, or just perspectives or ways of looking at things.
Yep. Perfect.
But I also know a lot about different types of martial arts. I know an awful lot about film and acting and
Sweet. I should mention too. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just because I did all these weird roles, I got to learn about a lot of different crazy off the wall subjects. So
That's right.
anything UFOs or spiritual things, anything like that we can talk about.
Awesome. I also want to toss out people that he's a local Blue Noser, so that's kind of cool, man.
Yep. Cape Breton Island.
Heck yeah. First podcast with a neighbor, man. So that's dope. So let's touch base on Buddhism and what that all entails, man. So in your experience and expertise there, Aarron, how has it served you, and like how did it all begin for you, man? Like diving into that world.
I said I was doing martial arts, and all the different martial arts come from different countries, and so I'd learn a little bit about each of the countries that it came from or the history of it. But the martial arts that really spoke to me were generally always Japanese.
Yep, same.
And so I read everything I could. And I moved to Vancouver when I was pretty young. And I met a young Japanese guy. We became best of friends. And because of that, he showed me that there wasn't a lot of good English teachers out there. Yeah. And so I became an English tutor.
Nice.
And taught quite a few, and I specialized in Japanese because I knew kind of a little bit of the language, and I knew the customs, and I loved the culture and the food and all that kind of stuff. So
I wish I actually had the opportunity to go over there about COVID. I mean, that prevents a lot of things, but we'll hit notes on that one too, I'm sure.
Yeah. The world is full of incredible diversity, but for me, I always loved control and precision and dance, or
man, the fluidity with it, right?
Beautiful things, right? So Japan is just full of that. And,
yeah, it is. Okay.
And I really liked history, so I was always talking to them about the old things. And anyway, I had a girlfriend, and she brought me to a Buddhist temple in Seattle, actually, near Seattle.
Okay.
We were living in Vancouver, so it was drive across the border. And
yeah, literally.
And of course, Buddhism in India is different than Buddhism in Sri Lanka, which is different than Buddhism in China, which is different than Buddhism in Japan.
Yep.
But like all religions, kind of take on
the
qualities of the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like everything, to me, it seemed like a wonderful way to live in the world, where you're just mindful and you pay attention to what you say, what you think, how you interact with people. Yeah. And then little by little, I learned. And the main thing is meditation. And that's a really important thing. And anybody of any faith or no faith can learn to meditate.
Yep.
And it's as you go through life, and as you change, your meditation, like everything, will change with it.
Mm-hmm.
And and it creates that really calm center, like a little place to go. And I think, we're Christians, and we a Christian country, and we're kind of Vikings, and we're external. And so a lot of a lot of our ways are external. Well, a lot of their ways are, because there's 80 billion of them, right?
Mhm.
They have that real personal accountability, personal responsibility. And I just loved all that, right?
Yeah, I respect and favor that too.
Right.
Because it tells a lot about the character that you're in the midst of, their morals and just their respect level for life and themselves. And to me that hits home for me because I really generally can't conversate with people that aren't on that level because to me it's just mundane and boring as fuck. I'll be brutally honest.
Yeah.
Conversating about the weather, conversating about the news. I mean, that's a
Yeah. Yeah.
whole different subject, right? It's
No, but
exhausting, and I don't want to expend my energy on those topics, right? That's why I love talking about Buddhism and philosophy and martial arts and meditation and all those things surrounding these, right? Highlight
it's
for me.
it also, I think, it's kind of, I don't know. Do you know the story of Buddha? I can kind
I
of,
do. I read books.
yeah. So he
Basically
was a
have, yeah.
prince and he
Of
was
course, he was tossed
sheltered.
out. Well, he actually left, right? And he
Right.
thought that the life that his father provided was, not good enough. He wanted to see the other side, like everyone thinks the grass is always greener on the other side. But it's good to see both sides of the coin so you can experience and then evaluate what works for you, extract and discard. But to me, I think that creates an equilibrium, like a balance for that individual. And to create that homeostasis is vital and key. So you have to go through those ordeals, those sufferings in order to grow. And without that, there's no adaptation. You're just doing the same shit in that stuck cycle, right? That stagnant energy and that mentality and
Yeah.
that mindset. So
There
that's
was a,
have
I can, I just wanted to talk on one subject.
yeah.
When we speak in words,
Excuse me.
and of course we're speaking the same language, but what those actual words mean often mean very different things
Mhm.
for the person.
Yeah.
And it's like when you hear a story or when you see a movie or you listen to a song, or any of us, and you like it, you identify with it,
That's right.
right? And you can like see that part of yourself that's like that
Mhm.
hero or the villain or
Yeah,
whatever.
much
And
like movies too, right? You're always playing
yeah,
that
so
role.
the only difference about that story is that his father, when the Buddha was born, he was a king and he took him to an oracle. And the oracle said, your son will either be the greatest of kings
Mhm.
or a great spiritual leader. And so, of course, the king wanted him to be a king. And so he surrounded him with beauty and beautiful people and in a pristine palace, a safe,
Haven for workers.
perfect place.
Yeah.
And he accidentally one day looked out over the wall and he saw an old man and he saw death for the first time. And these things rocked him. They rocked him because he was so protected and so sheltered. And so he really wanted to find the answer to that, to life, and to find the point and the meaning behind it. And I think we all have gone through that or will go through that. And as Canadians, we've had a pretty safe
Yeah.
history for the
For real.
last, and we're all kind of looking out in the world and having to look at these really things that can mess you up because they're so dark and black and horrible. And but
Mm.
the truth is still the truth, and it's how we deal with it. It's how we, it doesn't matter what the world does, it doesn't matter what anybody else does,
No, it's
it
your
just
reaction
matters
to
how
it,
we handle it, right?
right? Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. And I've been doing it a while, so I really 100% believe these things.
Hmm.
But I've seen it in my life. I've seen people, and they just won't change. They won't change until something absolutely horrible happens to them. And then it's the way of life, and it's just, but looking at it like that and seeing that because of that suffering, you're going to be so much stronger, so much wiser. There's a point to it. Don't get bitter or jaded or resentful, but just let it burn away the things that are fake and just reveal what you really are, right?
Yeah. And
And
that's pretty much, sorry, what I did in the realms of stepping into my title and what I wanted to do, to share my experiences with the world, to make a difference on a single note. I mean, that's all it takes is one person, and the ripple effects that you have generate on such a radius that it's almost, inconceivable to think that it's limited, like that it just goes on. And I feel that you fully don't understand it until your time comes and your time here is gone, right? So you can actually reflect back on all the years that you've been exposed to the world and how you contributed or how you took from the world, right?
Buddhists also believe in past lives and future lives, and
yeah, I do too.
We're a soul, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly. And
this
the
life,
idea is to
you're playing you.
yeah, right. As the observer, though, it's kind of weird.
No, that's just the way you're playing now. I mean, right?
No, I mean that's like all of us. Like there's the observer, and that is, consciousness. The end result is consciousness staring through the eyes of your projected reality, because of the subconscious and consciousness. But there's the observer, which is everything and anything, and that's what we all are anyway. And that's why I highlight about positivity so fucking much, dude. Like there's so much darkness in the world if you see it that way. I mean, there's a lot of weird shit going on right now, but that's besides it. But pushing out content that's positive all the time, because we're stuck in this roller coaster idea that going to work 9 to 5 is the way to go, and you just burn yourself out, and you're exhausted, and you're staying up late, and you're working late, and you're fucking walking around with a badge of honor, like, yeah, hoorah, I've rocked the shit out of my fucking week. I made all this money, and I'm exhausted. I'm gonna wear the bags under my eyes proudly to everybody, and that is the worst way to operate in life, man. You're gonna die sooner than ever. This is why people have open heart surgery, because they're working around the clock like that, and it's all for what?
But you've done that, right?
Oh, fuck.
That's how you know.
Exactly. Through experience. Everything that I teach is life experience, right?
Right.
As you are, and this is why we're discussing it here, right?
And one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, and I think you know about him already, is Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
In those books, you can learn how to learn, right? And I learned that stuff when I was young, so I've always kind of incorporated those techniques.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And it's, if you like, most of my heroes have been dead for hundreds, if not thousands of years, but they wrote books, or people wrote books about them, and I got to read. And so it's very different having a hero that's dead and having one that's alive and in your face, right? We're all human, and we're all just kind of doing the best we can in the situation we're in. But I think this time is different. One of the things I did for the last 20 years is astrology.
Nice.
And evolutionary astrology. And I didn't believe in it, and I thought it was all a bunch of bunkus until I was 30, and I actually went through something, and I met someone who actually was the real deal, and really was like, wow. And I was like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
And so no matter what, I think everybody could benefit from having their chart done and learning about themselves. And that's the trick. That's what your soul is here to play out, that role.
Exactly.
And I think pleasure and a sense of fulfillment comes from when you're doing that.
It does. Dude,
and
I gotta be brutally honest.
Suffering come from when you're not doing that, right?
Yeah.
And so
sorry, Aaron. I was just getting.
I did your chart, didn't I?
I was going to mention that. Yes.
Yeah.
We're going back like year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Pretty much when COVID cracked out, and I was like, we were on a site together on Facebook, like a group, and I was like, well, who's this guy, man? You mentioned something, and I, of course, tallied up with it. And then you said about a reading. I'm like, fuck yeah, man, do it up, right? And I was actually marveled by that. And it just kind of opened my expansion even further. I wanted to study that, like the gene keys and stuff like that, right? I've still yet to actually tackle that. I procrastinate when I'm working. Like I just got done saying, you don't want to live your life like that. We get caught up in snares because that's what we are programmed and conditioned to believe, that you've got to do this, right? But when you give yourself the permission slip to slow down and just embrace your actual essence of being, that's the whole idea. And that is the title of your essence, human being. You're just supposed to be. You're not supposed to do anything more. People don't get that,
Well,
right? Within reason, mind you. But
we all have to eat, and
yeah,
starving to death is awful, and freezing to death is awful.
Yeah, it sucks, right? Fucking sucks being homeless, man. Good God. But it taught us valuable lessons. Well, me, I don't know if you've been homeless, dude.
I've been,
Mhm.
and I've been at the top of the top and the bottom of the bottom, and
Right. And
it was
everywhere in between.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way, Aaron. It's great life experience.
But I think one of the main things astrology points out also is the importance of people being different.
Yeah.
And the great thing about you or I, and the importance of people like you and I, is that we're older men who've actually done this work and looked and achieved some level of enlightenment, and we're sharing it because we never know how many other men or the women that love them are going to watch this.
Yep.
And I think a lot of men are trapped and they just don't know, and they don't want to look like girl or
I know. Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, guys,
Beautiful.
You got to find that thing. You got to find your own drum, you got to, and the other thing, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to say, you don't have to do it all. I have, oh my God, I'm good at like a couple things, but I have friends who are great at all the other things that I'm absolutely awful at. and I give what I'm good for, and they give me what I need, right?
Exchanging. So that's right.
It's super important.
It is.
And hopefully something like this, you'll meet all sorts of people. So.
Oh, to be honest, man, like that group has taken right off, and there's a lot of attention drawn to it. Plus I'm on other groups as well, so I share similar content, and I'm interacting with all kinds of diversity with people of different ethnic backgrounds and religions and perspectives, and I love that because I feel that
it's an incredible world.
It is. Diversity isn't only necessary on the external, it's also internal, because our gut flora responds to diversity. Without it, we actually die prematurely, right? So it's a known fact, actually, that third world countries, well, maybe not. Okay, well, yes, actually, and other places alike, their gut flora has a range, I think, of like 300 to 350 different variables of food sources to ingest, as opposed to the American/Canadian Western cultured diet is like fucking 30 to 50 if we're lucky. So we're definitely missing, key components to properly thrive and be our best selves just through nutrition, right? But that's why half the battle. The intention behind the nutrition is much more important. It's like the thought before the action. That's vital. That's key. Without thought, there's no action, right? I mean, unless you just co-pilot, fucking autopilot or some shit. But yeah, sorry, I went off on a tangent as I often do.
That is crucial.
Yeah,
that's crucial. What you put in, you get out.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's food or entertainment or music or
right.
It's so important. But I'd also like to point out, I think people, man, they go, oh yeah, these people don't get it, or I'm so superior because I get it. And it's like, no matter how superior we get in life, no matter how much we may know, no matter how great we are, there's always better.
Of course.
There's always more. Right?
There's always a bigger fish in the sea, but I think the
And those
moral of
other
the story.
people,
Sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
other people, we can't pick on them. We can't make fun of them, or they're either traumatized or drugged or drunk or you
Yeah,
know,
Matrix
and it's
twice.
like this world is really hard on people, and oh my God, right? It's like you gotta, and if you walk up to somebody and you want to try and tell them something and you're like, hey, you're an idiot, you're not going to get very far in that
No,
conversation.
man.
You got to have respect, and we got to have
Passion, understanding,
unite
love.
people.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, that's it too. And like most religions, they all have key factors in comparison um, that are quite similar. And the biggest thing that I find with religion, I'm not a religious dude, obviously, I'm spiritual. There's a difference, but one of them that I'm making here is that they do teach you valuable lessons, morals, and respect, and appreciation, love, compassion, and that's what society needs right now more than ever. My God, you know, this whole COVID thing. There's two ways to look at it. You can see it as one big reflection of yourself and the world that you're in, or you can simply bask in this woe is me victim mentality and like, oh God, I'm stuck home and the world's fucked and blah, blah, blah. That's why I'm going to dig you deeper. And if you're into the fear-based, you know, mentality that the propaganda is pushing out right now, that's really going to sink the boat. So I'd advise a lot of people to shut off. I don't want to say disconnect, actually connect, but to the right source. Instead of social media all day, unless it's outlets like this that's beneficial and helpful for once, shut it the fuck off. Like you're numbing yourself to death. You're calcifying your third eye. Your ideas and opinions and perspectives are nothing but regurgitated garbage from what you're consuming all day. And you can't think for yourself. That's how
And
they control the masses.
it's weaponized.
Yeah, it is. Right?
It's weaponized by the. Okay, I'm gonna say some things, and it's really tricky to talk about this stuff
Well, I know.
because people have to be really smart. This is and really careful,
Yeah.
right? And you got to pick your battles carefully, right? And when you're dealing with somebody who's obviously got mental issues or something, arguing with them or da 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 isn't going to get anything except serious trouble. And
We're
it's
far
like
out.
the cops or we're all trapped in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And boy, oh boy, if you get arrested, I don't care what reason, you're going to get the jab.
Yep.
And that's the end of you. So you got to keep it together, right? That's the other thing about meditation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you keep that calm because you got to stay calm.
You do.
These days and not let anyone poke your buttons or press your buttons, right?
And it's difficult. You see people losing their shit all the time, right? But I'll tell you, like you mentioned about meditation, like, you know, I always toss out modalities all the time. I spoke of it, and I don't like recording just with myself. It's too
Yeah, me too.
repetitive. It just sucks. It's like talking in a fucking mirror. But
Yeah.
anyway, my niece and I, like, I put up a post today about Qigong this morning at the beachside. Gorgeous, man, right? That's the first time actually performing it. And she says, you know, I'm getting high. I'm like, yeah, like when high off your own supply, and you literally do just from breath work. But it fills you with this ecstatic energy.
It's your key,
right?
It's your life force. It's your
and that's circulating the way it's supposed to. It's flowing without any barricades and obstructions. And that's the whole idea, man. So now when you're in that fluidity, also the mind takes over and it rolls in a complete circuit like it's supposed to. There's no interruptions. There's no disruptions. There's no stagnant energy. It's just the way it's supposed to. So when you walk away from that, and we walked back to my truck barefoot, it was just like walking on sunshine, like that song. I love that song, man. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay, because that's it, right? It's like those types of things. Oh my God, acupuncture, yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, Qigong.
Yeah.
That creates health.
Yeah, it does.
Right? and even the meditation, you can, when you get really good at it, when you get really quiet and you can shut up that internal chatter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, your energy will just, and you'll see things different. You'll listen different. people won't be able to lie to you.
Oh
You know,
no,
it's
yeah,
like,
your mission is
it's
on
like,
point like spine senses, right? I love it.
yeah. So sharing those things that make people healthy and strengthen people with PTSD and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's at some point, and even me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the toughest guy in the world, man. Sooner or later, you're going to hit your wall.
Yep.
Sooner or later, it'll be one trauma too much.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be one pain too much, and it'll push you over the edge,
I'll break the
right?
back of you. I'll tell you too, Chris Cornell, before he passed, fuck man, it still crushes me because I love that guy, right? Same with Chester Bennington, people that I could relate to and resonate with growing up. It was my kind of music for the fitting situation lifestyle that I was leading at that point. So I totally resonated with all that. But
Are
he
you a
said,
musician? Or?
I play guitar, yeah.
Right.
I sing, but like I don't sing my own stuff. I keep being told, write your own stuff. I'm poetic. I can write poetry and stuff, but I don't,
Nice.
I can't yet grasp the idea of singing and playing at the same time. So I'm going to learn to talk while I'm playing and pick it up that way.
You got to make. We all have to hang out someday. You got to
Yeah, we
meet my
do.
lady.
Fucking
She's
right.
she knows every song known. She's
Sweet.
just an amazing singer.
Awesome,
She's
dude.
just, yeah, great personality. And so,
I was going to say with Chris Cornell there, he mentioned in a interview with, I don't remember who it was, but it's quite a few years past. And he said, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, how much you have, what your status is, or any of that. Like depression will come and get you. It doesn't care what you look like, your ethnic background, your age, your gender. Just it's going to take you, and you got to deal with it. And what I feel is depressive episodes will come and go. It's almost like if you compare yourself, and this is my best analogy and metaphor in comparison, is your mind, your body is no different than the seasons coming and going. And as we spoke earlier, it's just a matter of how receptive you are and how you react to those external events going around you. It's easy, right? And when you realize that the method is slow to anger, calmness, think well before you ever speak, you know, because the first thing people want to do is light people up, fucking fire ignorance at them. And all you're doing is stabbing yourself, man. That person is you. It's a reflection of something that you don't like within yourself, and you're pushing it onto that person.
people treat others like they've been treated, right?
That's right, man. Because they want other people to feel what they feel, that internal pain and suffering. That's what a bully is, man, right?
Yeah, but it's really important to stand up to bullies. I fucking hate bullies.
I don't hate them. I understand where they're coming from, because honestly, what I see is an inner child crying out for mercy, right? And what I can do is take somebody who's like really angered, and I've done it multiple times, and talk with them. Just give them compassion, give them a listening ear, and they're like, fuck, this dude knows what's up. Okay, shit, I'm gonna put that ignorance aside for this guy and tell him everything I need to tell him. And they just open up. And I was like a vault. It's no one's business, right?
I wouldn't have been as good in martial arts if I hadn't been bullied.
I hear you.
Right? It was that.
Sorry,
it was that. No. It was that. You know, and my mom sent me, and well, geez, I was pretty tough. You know, I'd been beaten a lot, and and I was like, all right. And the funny thing is, I never fought back. It wasn't because I was afraid of the other person. It was I was afraid of what I'd do if I lost it.
Yeah.
Right.
And especially if you got pent up anger for a long period of time.
And that the martial arts taught you control, right? And I was like, okay, all right, now I know, you know, and I can stand up for myself. And I like standing up for other people too. I mean, some people it's hard to see them getting pummeled, and we're all getting bullied now by.
Oh, dude, I guess. I'll tell you too, on a quick note on martial arts, I feel the best anyways in like Nova Scotia, and I would even go as far as to say Canada. Like I'm gonna put him on blast here, solid dude, and I hope he doesn't mind, but and his brother Darren and Les Foley trained us in Jeet Kune Do up here in Milton, Liverpool of all places. And it wasn't your watered down garbage, man. Like we were fifth generations from Bruce Lee. Like that's hardcore.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
I was young. Like I started like 15, 16. Me too. And I remember Darren saying in a class, like he always told us at the end of the class, you know, his final words were never bring trouble to the club. You guys be peacekeepers and carry on, basically. But he said one time, man, that like you guys don't realize how good this really is. Like you guys should be thrilled to shit. And we're like, go on with yourself. We didn't understand, you know, the
Yeah,
value behind it, right? Now I do.
yeah,
Good God. I never found anything close to it all over Canada. I've traveled all over and nothing.
Okay, first off, Bruce Lee was like one of those enlightened beings, right?
Mhm.
And of course, yeah, but he's a perfect example of the Buddha thing too, right? It's like if you know yourself, then you'll, you know, if you do those types of things, you're gonna know yourself. You're gonna know everything about yourself. And then other people are easy when you know yourself. But if you don't know yourself, you're never gonna understand anything, or right?
True. And that's the whole point here is a lot of people want to walk around with blinders on, right? Those veils. And usually sometimes it's unconsciously being aware, but other ones are fully aware of it, but it's a choice because familiarity kind of reigns stronger and trumps out, you know, realistic and authentic reasons of why you're doing something. And it's sad to see that people go down in history like this, because they're not operating from the level of awareness that they could be. I wouldn't say should be because we're all on different spiritual levels and whatnot. But I feel on a global scale, this is really turning over, and there's so much awareness going on for people. They're talking about meditation, you know, awareness, and all this in schools. Fine, it's like holy fuck, we're actually teaching people essential skills for them to survive in the world that, you know, is crazy chaotic right now, right?
Okay,
So
I'm gonna tell you something. And I see people all the time, man. I see guys that know an awful lot more than me and just about any subject.
mhm.
But then they don't know about something else. And they've just never made that connection.
Mhm.
And astrology, man, it gets laughed at and tinfoil hat and all this stuff. And it's like if you really study it, it's been around for thousands of years in Asia, in the Middle East, in Europe. And the idea that you could watch the stars and make the correlation between what you see up above you and what's going on in the world.
As above,
Well,
so below.
I'm going to tell you and your listeners something.
Yeah, man.
This is the age of Aquarius. This is the beginning of it. They've been singing about it since the 60s. We've just come out of the age of Pisces, the two fish. Jesus is the personification of that age.
Yeah.
That's what those 2,000 years, all of the things that happened were about. This age of Aquarius is going to be a different world.
Yeah.
And that's not maybe, coulda, shoulda.
It's
It's
definite.
going to be. And that world is free. Everybody is equal. Everybody is helping everyone else become their best self.
Utopia, man, that we're all after. Yeah.
And it's so easy. We make this world every day by paying for it, by participating in it. And nothing really has to change. Nothing. We can all keep doing what we're doing, but it's how we do it.
That's right.
And that when we on a personal level don't want to do whatever we're doing anymore, we can change. We can change and go do something else, and somebody else can try that for a while, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And we just have a world of people not tied for money and not in survival mode all the time, and not
Yeah.
with all the garbage and the poison and the
Right.
Like,
That's why we're all sick too. Like, let's
right.
get some notes on that. Speaking of the poisons, well, the soil's fucked. It's been for decades, right? It's little to value in nutritional value. They're spraying crops and our land with glyphosates and other toxic chemicals that are, they're saying on a micro level, it's not a big deal, but we have micro level atoms within us. So they're soaking it up and holding on to that poison. And then our body is being taxed to fucking death, liver, gallbladder, kidneys, whatever has to run its course through your body and being dispersed. And that's detrimental to our health. This is the key factor of eating healthy and having wise choices on entertainment. And you are what you surround yourself with. You are what you think. You are what you say about yourself and about other people. That's why you should watch how you speak when you're speaking about others or yourself. Try to pump others up, man. Like, you ever hear the
And
story about
not bullshit either.
exactly like
Not
being
not not
legit and
fake,
authentic, right?
right? And
Yeah,
when you see someone being great, like you are, I
thanks,
just
dude.
wanted to say, hey man, it's like you deserve some appreciation because it's important what you're trying to do. It doesn't matter that we win.
No,
It matters that what we're doing is right
yeah,
and that we're doing it. That's all that matters. Winning and da 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 da. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's called faith. I have
it is.
faith.
And Aaron, there was something I've seen on a meme earlier on a group, and I fucking lost it. I should have saved it and bookmarked it because it was saying about, there's a lot of people that hesitate to move forward on a big project, whether it's within themselves, for the community, for the better of humanity. Oh, you're rolling one. Shit, I got to twist one up too. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Anyway, shit, where was I going? Oh, right. So basically, there's no better time than the present. It doesn't matter how far you've come along in your journey. Share it with others so they can see where you've been, where
Yeah,
you've gotten to,
yeah,
and they can
absolutely.
utilize those modalities to benefit them. And that's
Right.
what I've done from the very beginning. I've been doing this now for just over a year. And it was very uneasy coming out and talking about my own experiences and life traumas. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm putting myself on blast for the world. Do I really want to do that? What kind of backlash am I going to catch off this shit with my family too? And I was like, wait a minute. To contain these golden nuggets, that's how I feel. Like everything I've gone through, it's not to boast. I'm not sitting on a mountaintop trumping and
No,
saying,
me neither.
right.
Mm.
But I've overcome a lot and had so much life experience to this point. Like being a little kid, I had to grow up and I was mature beyond my years, definitely well past my youth. That was just the nature of it, growing up in the experience.
East Coast.
Well, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
with that being said, man, I'm quite grateful and thankful that things are taking off and going in the direction that they are. And all I can ask for, my intent in this process, is to keep it moving forward. Even if I can't continue, somebody can else take the torch and run with that shit, and do the same thing. We're all in this together. There's no rhyme or reason for anybody to think that they have to sit and hesitate, get a thought, get an action, and make it happen. My favorite saying is just fucking do it, man. Right?
Find somebody who's done what it is you want to do. That's how
Study them.
I learned acting. When everybody else was learning acting, I studied actors. And I read every biography. I must have read 100 biographies on all the best of the best actors, right? And you learn how they think and how they act. And well, they know what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, they do.
And so no matter what you want to do, you can find the person who's doing it, preferably like you want to.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of people want to do things.
Yeah.
But it's not actually what they want. Is they want to be things. And if they know what they want to be, sometimes there's many, many ways to be that thing, as opposed to thinking, oh, I want to do this. Because,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the worst thing is, fear-based mentality is what prevents people from moving forward. They're like, oh my God, I'm afraid of what people might think, what they say. Oh my God, I can't look myself in the mirror if I'm being, attacked and belittled. But if you don't do something, like, see, I've always been kind of a trailblazer. I don't give two sweet fucks about what people think, within respect and reason. What I mean by that is, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to shine as bright as I can. I'm not going to be told dim the fuck down, you're too bright, or blah blah blah. Look at the moon, look at the stars, look at the fucking sun. It's not asking permission to be there. It's just being. And that's what I'm doing on a different level.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're a dad, right?
yep.
There you
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
You got to be something.
Yeah.
You're a husband. You got to be some. I'm a son. You know, I got to be something.
Yeah.
And it's, but that's another thing. It's choosing.
Yeah.
You could be a deadbeat dad and feel
Fuck
just
off.
right. You're choosing, taking responsibility for the choices you make and trying to be the best, whatever it is that you're, right? And how you do it's going to be totally different maybe than everybody else, but
Of
it's
course.
important. It's
It is.
really
And I'll add to that too is like I read, sorry, no, it was an audio podcast with Matthew McConaughey. I don't remember who was interviewing, but he was saying about feeding the two wolves and keeping a balance. Like you have the good and evil, right? You need both. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Without it, you don't have yin yang. There's no balance. But you got to carefully be conscious of how much you're feeding each and every one of those wolves to ensure you have that balance, but also the factors in your life. And what I mean by that is like the things that you hold true to your essence. Like what are your priorities in life? Mine's family, friendship, my work, obviously, in order to make shit happen. But also freedom and willing to accept things as they come and just work off that.
yeah.
And just have fun while you're doing it. Really, I fucking love doing what I do, dude.
Can I disagree with you on one
Yeah,
little bit?
of course you can.
The yin yang thing, I think it's, if you can understand, not you, I say
Well,
you a lot, and
I do too,
I don't
right?
mean
You
you,
take the
I
you and
mean
I out.
us. I
Yeah,
mean
us and
everyone.
we, right? We'll make it plural.
But anyone, there is good and there is bad. I see so many people in the world and they're all these light workers and love and and everything's great and
Yeah.
puppy dogs, and
Yeah.
it's so
Not always.
imbalanced.
Yeah, that's overcompensating.
And it's so not looking at their own dark side or the dark things that are in the world.
Yeah. That's like a
And
fucking set that's done up with makeup and a bunch of artificialness in order to be a pleaser for others, to entice your own ego and to inflate that while you're filling a void. And that, to me,
it's fear.
it is fear-based.
It's fear, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I get it, right? And if there's nothing you can do about it, most people just don't want to look.
That's it.
But if you can, and you can acknowledge the fact you could be a bastard or you could be a saint, and you choose good, right? That's a big thing for men. We can all be bad guys. It's pretty damn easy. But it's when you know that, then you can say, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
It's if you think you're not like that at all, watch out.
Oh,
Because the first time you get pressed, you're going to do something real horrible. And
I've
it's going to give you PTSD. Or,
Yep. Well, that's it. And I spoke heavily, well, not really heavily. I touched base the other day, and I apologize to my viewers for my last posting because I was kind of irritated that they was stretched thin, and so was I. And I wasn't in the right headspace to be collectively calm and rational. So I fired things out and I watched it for a minute. It was only a 4-minute and 40-second segment video, I think. And I was like, God, my viewers aren't going to resonate with that at all. I'm just like, yeah, basically here it is. Kind of like the guy at a fucking gas station who just shits all over the customers as they walk in. And I don't mean he has to be verbally ignorant, but just kind of like his monotone attitude. That was me. And I was like, wow, I'm really off my game today. So in actuality, what I should have done was thought it through, looked at myself in the mirror and said, are you ready for this? Because I believe in, yes, being authentic and all that, but to come on and just be blah, blah, nobody wants to pick up on that vibe, man. It's dead in the water, dude. Right?
I think we all need to, okay, and first off, that's something I made some videos too.
I see him, yeah.
And it's like, And but like what you said, when you're talking to yourself,
Oh, it sucks. It does.
it totally sucks. It just, you got
Yeah.
no energy,
No peanut butter. You're
right?
just like, fuck.
Like
Yeah.
blah blah, me, yeah, and it just sounds weird, right?
Yeah, it
So,
does. I'm glad you see it that way too, dude.
oh yeah, but it's be okay, trying to be like anyone else, right?
Such a waste of time,
The
man.
Like acting,
Mhm.
acting. The tricky thing about acting is you have to look in a mirror
Yep.
and you have to see yourself the way other people do. Doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how you truly are. It just matters your type, right?
Yeah.
And you're playing a type, usually, most actors anyway. And so that's good if your type is the leading man, or but it's
Yeah.
awful if your type is the waiter. But I digress. And so your show is your show, and you're gonna do it. And
Yeah.
some are gonna suck, some are gonna, but
That's the way it
being
goes.
and when you fuck up, going, hey, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
right?
own your shit, man. I'm all about
Oh yeah,
accountability on most scenarios. I'm trying to get better with it. Like I often said, I'm learning right along with everybody else too. This isn't
right?
me mastering shit and going, listen to me or else. No, man.
Yeah, right.
Like this is helpful for all of us.
Yeah,
And it's a constant reminder for myself. And this is also why I listen to I'd almost say repetitive subjects on the matters, because that entices me to keep myself correct and come correct every time I'm introduced to a scenario or situation or a level of energy from somebody, whether it be positive or negative, right? So that you can
right,
be a little more precise and conscious of how you're going to present yourself and show up
right,
for that,
right.
right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's good to have a plan, or a
Mhm.
little talking points maybe, or something,
Yeah.
just to fall back to if you get lost. But
Yeah.
that's just acting and experience and practice, right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
those guys.
I'd have to say that I'm a lot more calm than when I first initiated videos, even with like individuals. I remember like fucking getting sweats and shit. I'm like, fuck, I gotta be on point, or I'm gonna be like a complete failure. But that was the mentality I had. That was, as I mentioned, like a year and a half ago, maybe just over a year, I guess. Right. But it's like anything, you get better as time goes on.
Yeah,
Just keep redefining yourself, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about saying things. You have freedom.
Mhm.
Nobody is paying you.
No.
Nobody controls what you say.
Yet.
Nobody's paying me, and I'm not
Yeah.
making any. I don't, and that creates an honesty,
Yeah, it does.
and it's a truly a gift, to other people.
Yeah.
I've always had a hard time with the whole money thing,
Me too.
with I mean, if it's a job or work, or I'm doing something for somebody, of course. But if you're truly helping somebody, I feel funny about charging them for it. Or
I do too. And like I say, when you go to a doc, it seems like it's just the regular norm. But when you perceive yourself a certain way and feel that you have modalities that you can help heal others, charging does seem kind of scummy. I'm like, well, it is my time, right?
yeah,
And it is a
sell
service.
T-shirts, sell
Yeah, really. Find
sell
some
something, right?
productive, honest way of making
Yeah,
a dollar off it, I guess. But
yeah. Put your name on a T-shirt, and people who love you can wear
yeah,
your name.
exactly. Yeah, really. I mean,
But
shit.
you
You
know,
know, we
I
need
had a
money to be
girlfriend.
able to. Oh, go ahead there.
No, sorry. I had a girlfriend. She had the best idea. She said, "We're all puzzle pieces."
Hmm.
And she used to make these T-shirts with just two pieces of a puzzle connected together. Or she'd give little dime bags for weed. She'd put a little puzzle piece in them and then pin them onto
Fuck
people's
yeah,
coats and
man.
stuff. And it was just a little sign, that, hey, we're all connected and interconnected.
Pretty much. Dude, that's a brilliant idea. And I
Steal it.
always do that too. No, I wouldn't do that. But I definitely feel that life is, and we are a part of this big ass gridlock puzzle, and we've become disconnected from each other and lost our way. You know what it's like? Like, fuck, dude, I hate puzzles. My wife loves them. I love her, and I'll get her puzzles until the fucking cows come home. But for me, dude, to sit there, I'm all about being present. And, I'm cool with that Zen state. But puzzles, dude, rattle me something fierce. You got to flip them over, find the edges, get the border. Holy fuck. I don't have the patience for it.
We
Really.
all come into life with strengths, and we all come into life with weaknesses.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And a trick is you didn't come here to work on your strengths,
No, we didn't.
right? You came here to work on your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the best way a human being learns is through pain and suffering.
Oh, you know what?
And
Even on a biological level, when you think about the anatomy of the body and when you're weight training, right? You enhance
Exactly.
the growth and strength
Exactly.
through breaking shit down and
Right.
suffering. And I know
Right.
this firsthand because I do it every morning out there like an asshole with dipping fucking poles, metal poles off my banister. So if anyone drives by, I'm out there fucking giving her, you know exactly what I'm doing, man. 6:30 to 7, give or take, within that range of time. Every morning I'm out there. And to me, I consider myself
Life is about habits.
what is and
I gotta
consistency,
tell you,
right?
and those
Um,
are what make you. It's so important to
oh,
keep.
definitely. Do you know David Goggins?
No, sorry.
Okay. Look him up, man. And hopefully the viewers might know who he is. I consider myself to run the course like David Goggins, to be the white version in times of need, to get myself through something. Like, I don't always like to fucking boast and brag, but there's some times where you have to bring that in just to prove a point. Not prove a point. That sounds egotistical. Just to make clarification of what I'm trying to express here, I guess, right? Like, the mind wants to give up well before the body does. Okay. When we feel pain, the first inclination we have is like, oh, fuck, we got to quit this. I can't endure that. Because what it really does is triggers a memory from your past that was too painful and it didn't sit right with you. It didn't resonate. Instead, it got lost and lodged in your tissues. And, Gabor Mate talks about that a lot. Bessel van der Kolk, anyone that's gone through some shit became enlightened, awakened, whatever you want to call it. But for me, I find that consistency is key, and just that determination not to give in and give up, man. Just keep pushing.
We store those. What you said is very true. We store trauma in the body.
Yeah.
And it's only through, we try to think the mind cannot heal the mind.
Oh, it can.
Right?
I'm living proof.
Actually, it was your physical working out, and you can rationally understand things, but unless you can get rid and get strong, and change your physiology, depressed people move a certain way, they talk a certain way.
Yes, they do.
Right? And and Arnold Schwarzenegger moves a certain way and acts a certain. We all like. It depends, but I promise, Arnold Schwarzenegger probably doesn't get depressed very much, right? Because he's just, his body doesn't permit it.
To be honest, I can actually crack that and denounce that for a minute, if you will.
That was probably full of shit.
No. Like, it's good in concept and in theory, but in actuality, people think that having the chiseled 8-pack body and the muscles and all that shit's going to give you what you want. Dude, I've done it. I've actually got a video or a photo on Instagram that shows me buffed as fuck, jacked as fuck, 6 days a week is working out 7 days a week. That's an hour and a half after work and more, and hitting the heavy bag plus the weights and doing crazy extensions with my legs to get the 8-10-pack abs. But my face was white. And the reason I put that up there wasn't to be like, look at me. I'm not about that. Not anymore. But what it was to show is like, you can look healthy on the outside, but internally I was breaking down minute by minute and not realizing it. Right.
Yeah. I didn't mean that's anything excessive.
Yeah. Balance is key.
Is
moderation.
Sign of something.
Yeah. Something that you're holding on to that's totally suppressed.
Or
like, oh yeah.
Overcompensating for, or but I just meant it's like when you're feeling strong
Yeah.
you'll feel strong.
No, I get it. No, and it's true. And
And
that's
if you're sitting on the couch eating Doritos and
well, that's it, man.
it's gonna make you feel pretty bad. So
Yeah. Well, you're probably in agreement with the idea of earthing and grounding as much as
Oh, yeah.
possible. Man, that regulates your hormones, your serotonin levels, dopamine, all that shit, man. Those good feel levels that are chemicals in your brain floating around and throughout your body that are connecting and sending out signals all day.
are you a 420 fella?
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, I don't follow the 420. I just smoke all day anyway.
No, yeah.
Well, when I'm not working, right? I like
That
to
was
be
my
clear-headed.
code, but yeah.
Yeah. Actually, if I
mean-
wasn't in the house and we were zooming outside, like I could take my phone. I wonder if I could actually smoke with you.
Next time.
Yeah, or next time. Yeah. I mean,
Anyway.
we're probably wrapping up to the hour
Yeah.
mark anyway, aren't we?
Okay.
But you know,
Anyway,
like, Aaron, man,
we
we could talk for
we
hours,
can
my
talk
friend.
anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
and I enjoy these talks. So
Me too.
we'll try to figure out little points or I had an idea for I want to tell you this story. It's a little Buddhist story, but it totally describes something that I don't think a lot of people realize.
Mhm.
And so anyway, the story goes, there's two monks, one old, one young, and they're walking to a monastery miles and miles away. And of course, the young monk is very respectful of the older monk. The old monk is a venerated old timer, knows a lot. So anyway, they're walking along and they come to a river. And next to the river is this woman. And she's hardly wearing any clothes at all, but she wants to get across the river. And well, if you know anything about Buddhist monks, they don't touch anyone or they don't, talk to. So anyway, but without missing a beat, the old guy picks her up and carries her across the river, puts her down. And the young monk is absolutely astounded and he can't believe it. But he can't say anything, of course. And so they walk and they walk and they walk. And finally, the young monk can't take it anymore. And he just goes, Master, how could you have done that? How could you have touched that? Oh my God. And he's like, the old man turns to him and he says, I picked her up and I carried her across the river. You picked her up and carried her 15 miles. And I think human beings, especially in North America, especially with our victim culture and our empathy and our care, and there's a million good reasons for it. And everyone, oh, you poor, but it's like we go through the pain and the suffering to get that experience, and we can take it and we can hold on to it and we can learn from it and grow from it.
Yep.
But sometimes we have to let it go. Not sometimes. We have to let those things go.
Yeah, if they don't serve you,
They're a time and a place and a part of our journey. But I see so many people and they hold on to lessons and they define themselves by their suffering or their.
Oh, dude. You know what sucks about that, man? The fact that, well, you've probably read the book Celestine Prophecy, okay?
Yeah.
And they're always talking about, like, I love that book and highly recommend it to anybody out there who wants to get their feet wet in, how to operate. And they're talking about exchanging energy. That's all we do. You and I right now, exchanging thought, consciousness, energy, and good vibes. All right. This is great. But there's other ones who are called energy vampires or leeches. They suck the shit right out of you. You're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
You gotta say, woe is me, victim mentality. Like, it's so exhausting. You want to tear your eyeballs out of your fucking head. Like, shoot yourself, man. Like, it's just.
No, and it makes them look good. It makes you, you're a bad, you don't care. You don't care about come on.
You know what you do though?
I care a great deal about you.
Yeah.
And I'm actually trying to free you from this
thing. Like, you can hold space for that person and walk the walk with them, but it's their experience. You don't have to attach the emotions of it, but just be compassionate and loving and accepting and open and hold the space there. That's all you need to do. And I seen that on a post. I won't throw out names because maybe they don't want to be, notified of that. But anyway, it was pretty dope. And I was like, fuck yes. So this is what I cycle my life with on the daily. This is all I talk about realistically. I mean, I'm not a total bored, have other hobbies and topics to discuss, but that's the highlight of my day and where majority my energy goes and invest into. And I think it's a good payout, really, because what you put in, you get out tenfold.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if you can light somebody up and put a smile on their face, you've made a difference already. Like when you smile at somebody in a grocery store, they might be having a shit day. You don't know where they've been or what they're going through. A simple smile can go
Yeah.
such a long way,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that's the moral of the
it's
story.
truly, that's it, man.
Yeah.
Buddhists
So,
believe that all the souls come at different levels,
yeah,
different experiences, right?
that's
And
right.
so people like us, or the people that are watching your show, they have to realize there are no accidents, there's no luck, and there's no chance.
Love it.
And
Yeah.
there's you and me and them.
That's it.
And for however long this show is, we're talking about things and we're sharing things that make the whole world better.
Yeah, it does, right? Like, to be honest,
And it's
people
that
could
ripple,
yeah,
ripple.
the ripple effect. If people could tune into this and have broadcasting of this, fuck it, that's what I'm gonna do. I said it before, and I've been procrastinating, as mentioned, for work purposes. But I'd love to have Zoom calls with people, discuss certain topics with people, to have the qigong videos for people to participate. I can set up Zoom links for people. Just kind of walk the walk with me, man. Talk the talk, walk the walk with me. Because as a group of people, we're so much stronger. And you're tightening the bonds with each other and yourself. So we're healing on a global scale and internally. I think that is just beautiful, right? I really do.
So if you were, I think, if I were to recommend something that would help anyone, and anything by Bruce Lee, of course.
Yeah, man. Great man himself.
And the other thing is important about martial arts. I studied many different styles, and there's fighting, and then there's not fighting. And so to me, and it may sound arrogant or strange, but to me, the only true martial arts are Tai Chi and Aikido, because it's all about controlling yourself, controlling your energy, controlling the other person, controlling the surrounding, right? And just not drawing that aggression. And Aikido is a real kind of way of life and a way of looking at things and reacting to things. And so it's really, and the other thing is most martial arts, men and women are very different.
Yeah.
Aikido, that's not true at all. In Aikido, size doesn't matter at all. Anybody can do it, and anybody can be
any fitness level, right? Any age. And I'll add to that too is what I find vitally important within those realms of martial arts is simply that the chi is there, the breath work, like you're breathing while you're doing performing these exercises, right? And these movements. And I think that's what's really important for people to take home right now is it's not that you're going to be able to protect yourself. That's a bonus, obviously, but that's just the icing on the cake. The meat and potatoes at the bottom of that cake is simply just what I said, man, right? And if you see things that way, then you're going to have a clear perspective on other rational aspects of your life. And, I just recently started playing chess. I fucking love it. I never knew how before. And I was always kind of intimidated, thinking, I won't catch on quick enough and look like an ass. So I just jumped in with a buddy and I was like, ooh, damn. And I bought myself one. So my next goal is maybe you and I can do it and other people alike. Have a chess game, a live chess game online while we're talking about these subjects. Because chess, war, life, fighting, all that shit, they're all tied together, man. All these components, right?
The other thing is I don't know if many people that don't know, that have never done martial arts, you're facing your fear, and your people are afraid of what they don't know, right?
Yeah.
And most people have never been punched in the face or never hit anyone or and so they live in terror of physical confrontation. And when they are in a physical confrontation, they go ballistic because of that fear.
That's right.
Whereas every day just doing a little martial arts, you
Keep
get
going.
to
Yeah,
work
man.
with other people. And I don't love anyone the way I love the people I fought. You know,
True. Yeah.
when I trained and I trained and I trained, and he's trained and he's trained and trained and trained, and you meet and you play that, and to win or lose, it
It's a
didn't
dance,
matter.
dude. You know what I mean?
It was the best, right? And
Yeah.
so you really care. I don't think people know that
No.
those guys, they're fighting, but they actually love one another.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah. They're
respect
showing
one another a great
large
deal.
amounts of respect while they're interacting that way. And I'll say too that there's a, I won't mention who was involved, but there was an incident that happened at a beach probably 3-4 years ago. And I was a heavy drinker then. And I remember jumping off the Somerville Bridge. That's what it was, Somerville Beach. And I came, I surfaced and I walked up along the shoreline, and I noticed a couple of people were, squawking amongst themselves. And I was like, well, fuck me. And I trained in boxing already, martial arts, pride, all this, meditation. At this point, I'm homeless and I'm okay with, being in my own space, in my own head. I love it. Fucking love entertaining myself. So I walk up, man, and I interject and I said, what's going on, fellas? What's the problem? Very calmly. All of these parties are fucking heated. And I'm walking in casual going, what's the problem, man? And it was an older gentleman that was picking on younger kids. I don't like that. That to me is tasteless. So I looked at the man and I said, hey, do you mind not acting this way in front of everybody? Like, do you have personal problems? What are you presenting here, dude? What are you projecting onto these people? And I shook his hand. I said, what's your name? He's like, doesn't matter. We don't have to have a therapy session right now. I said, maybe we do, right? It was fucking beautiful. And the guys walked off and, left him be and whatnot. He's from the city. And
that's Aikido, by the way.
Right? Yeah. And the boys were like, Matt, how'd you stay so calm with all that? I said, look, man, I've lost everything. And when you hit rock bottom and you've done what I've done, this is mediocre bullshit. It's irrelevant to my existence and what I want to do, to benefit and better myself. It's just ruckus noise. So I'd rather cancel that out and neutralize it than to add fuel to that fire. And neutralization.
I've had it all, I've lost it all many, many, many times.
Yeah, neutralization is the key to balance, right? There's where your good and evil is. Neutralization, man.
Well, just being calm, and when it's like every situation has options.
Yeah.
And the more emotional you get, or the more
it's the worst
you get, it turns into two doors,
Yeah.
But when you're calm, there's tons of doors. There's tons of ways of dealing with it. And that's a gift. The Tony Robbins is something worth mentioning. Yeah. Everybody should really, watch some videos, or any topic, any health, diet, model people, state, physiology.
Yeah. Something I'll mention too, though, some of those guys, like, I don't want to bash on them, but I find that there's a bit of propaganda in the sake that they're marketing their services and targeting people who might be.
That's why I like Tony.
Yeah. Like, he seems pretty legit, but there's a lot of ones out there that you want a red flag and go, oh, fuck, man, these guys are just money takers. Are they legit and wanting to actually help? Right? Because there are a lot of resources out there for people to get latched onto. And then
that I suggest, like, it's all on YouTube. There's
that's a school of its own.
It's unbelievable. It's just a treasure chest of 10 different experts on just about any subject.
I know. So that's it, man. You can't stop learning as long as you, look at those videos and the content that's going to serve you, man. Like, you can just utilize every source of information to benefit in so many ways. It's powerful. It's fucking crazy. We got the world at our fingertips all day long.
Yeah, right. That's
mitigate that shit and work with it.
The freedom starts in the mind. Free your mind and your ass will follow.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Not the other way around, but that's how we're operating. Most of us on a lower level. That's it is what it is. You can only control yourself in the way you react to things. But on that note there, Aaron, I think we'll tie off.
One more.
Yeah. Go ahead, buddy.
Here's the greatest lie and the greatest secret that's ever been told to you or anybody. is that you don't matter and
Yeah.
that you're nothing special.
Yeah.
And those are the greatest lies. And I'm not saying everybody deserves, we're not equal. We're all different and all that kind of stuff. But oh my God, right? You're a unique divine aspect
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
universe in this moment,
Perfect.
experience
Just the way you are.
whatever it is you're experiencing.
Yeah.
You can't do it wrong.
No.
No matter what, you're going to learn something, you're going to grow from it, or you'll do it in the next life, you know?
And I'll add to that too. It's there's never really a wrong or right. I mean, yes, I mean, we have collective society.
There's a wrong and a right, all
Well,
right.
yeah, but like in terms of how you operate, man, there's no right or wrong, man. It's just a perception of thought that makes it right or wrong. Um, really, the moral of the story is just fucking be good to yourself so you can be good to other people, man. Self-care first. You can't give from an empty cup because you're just going to drain it even more. If there's nothing there, there's not even vapors anymore. You're winded and you're done. I've been there, right? So I've learned not to be a people pleaser and set up boundaries so that I can contain that energy and give freely and openly when the timing is right, but learn to pretty much put up a dam and protect myself with white light so that I don't get taken advantage of.
You have to. You have to.
You do.
You got to be smart. You got to be calm. This world is geared to wind you up, make you crazy.
It's an insane asylum, man. You know,
Right.
John Lennon said it, Martin
Yep.
Luther King, all these greats that came and gone said the same shit. So,
And all of us truth tellers, we should pay attention.
yeah, God, man.
Somebody that does say truth, it doesn't really work out well for them.
No, exactly.
You gotta be smart. You gotta, you know.
Yeah, dude. Well, Aarron, man, it was a definite
Awesome.
pleasure having you on here, buddy. You know, like fuck, man, we got to do this again, and
Anytime.
hopefully people gain some insight from this conversation of ours and take it to the wind if they will, right?
Well,
Thank you
and
very
share
much.
and share, and anybody else can talk to me or friend me or
Exactly. Aaron's a good guy. Like I said, I've known him for what, year and a half, 2 years,
almost.
and we had many a conversation surrounding these topics, and we're gonna have many more. Yeah, buddy. All right, man. Much love to you, brother, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right, buddy. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.